Hi guys, welcome to another episode of What You Watchin'. This is going to be a little bit different of an episode. In this one, we're going to talk about who we think, based on numbers and what we feel in our heart, who is going to be the first MCU male lead actor to win an Oscar.
Yep, get that gold, baby.
Not, it doesn't matter if they win it in leading actor, supporting actor, writing, directing. It doesn't matter. Just who's going to win that first Oscar. Mm-hmm. So, what I did was I went through everything on IMDB for all the characters, Rotten Tomatoes, audience and critic score, Metacritic score for every movie that they've made since they debuted in the MCU, and I averaged all those numbers out.
He loves his numbers.
So, here's how it turned out for IMDb. We had Mark Ruffalo on top with a 7.16 rating, followed by Benedict Cumberbatch, then Jeremy Renner, then Don Cheadle, and then Robert Downey Jr. That's the only list that RDJ appears on.
It's a little surprising, but only a little.
Only a little because people love him, but maybe his movies aren't that good. So how do you feel about Mark Ruffalo being up top on that one?
That is surprising to me. I feel like I don't notice him in a role, which is normally very, very good, but I didn't see him being that.
Well, it's amazing because his stuff is never really, that widely supported. It's not these big films in theaters that people are talking about, and yet the movies that he makes, people see and love. So he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
All right. Rotten Tomato critic score. On top, we have Don Cheadle with an 81.33.
Wow.
Followed by Jeremy Renner, then Tom Hiddleston, Mark Ruffalo in fourth, and then Sebastian Stan making his only appearance on any of these lists in fifth place.
That's surprising, too. I felt like he wouldn't be on any of those lists. He's more of a secondary character kind of actor.
Well, not only is he more secondary, but honestly, he's fine, but he's not great. He doesn't do anything great.
He's got a lot of
growing
to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel about Don Cheadle being up top on this one?
It kind of makes sense for the character he's been choosing and the movies he's been choosing. I feel like he's very much going for the critics' love.
Well,
he wants to be there.
The weird thing about Don Cheadle, guess how many movies he's made since debuting in the MCU and Iron Man 2? Outside the MCU.
Not too many, I don't think.
3.
Wow.
He's made 3 films.
That's what I'm saying.
Outside the MCU. So, he's definitely trying to go for that Oscar bait, but more power to him. Let's see if he can snag one.
Yeah.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes audience score. Mm-hmm. Not that the audience has anything to do with the Oscars. We don't pick crap. If we did, a lot different stuff would win.
Very much so.
And a lot more people of color would be nominated for things.
As they should be.
Oscars, get this right. But anyway, so Rotten Tomatoes audience score. We have Benedict Cumberbatch on top with a 73 even, followed by Mark Ruffalo, then Don Cheadle, then Chadwick Boseman. A little bit interesting.
Yeah, but people love him.
Yeah, but they loved his stuff before the MCU. It's weird to see his name on there post-MCU. But then, rounding out that list is Jeremy Renner yet again in the top 5.
I love him. I can't say enough about him. I absolutely love him.
Who?
Jeremy Renner.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great.
Wind River?
Wind River.
So fantastic.
We did a whole video on Wind River. It's amazing. Go watch it if you haven't watched it yet. But the problem with Jeremy Renner is he's always second.
I mean, that was his lead movie.
It was great, but this number is boosted, and all his numbers are boosted because he's in movies like The Bourne Legacy, which everybody loved the Bourne franchise. He's been in 3 Mission Impossible films. People are gonna love those regardless, not because of him, but because of Tom Cruise.
So he attaches himself to really good movie series, like MCU.
So maybe that helps him out in the long run, but I just don't see it.
It just shows that he has a good taste in what movies he's in, even if he's just a side part.
For sure. I just don't see him ever really, outside of Wind River, I've never seen him be a lead actor in anything that I've absolutely loved.
Well, maybe he's on the
maybe he pulls a supporting actor Oscar out of his butt sometime.
I'm going to disagree. I think he could get a main actor.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
And our final category, before we really start arguing about this, Metacritic score. Number 1, Don Cheadle, 72.6.
Critics, of course.
Tom Hiddleston, again, second appearance now, in second.
Critics.
Followed by Jeremy Renner, who makes it into the top 5 on all 4.
See
Mark
what I'm
Ruffalo,
saying?
who makes it into the top 5 on all 4. And Benedict Cumberbatch
Yeah.
making his third appearance out of the 4 categories.
As he should.
So, let's talk about the fact that Don Cheadle is the top in Metacritic and the top in Rotten Tomato
Is it?
critic score.
He's Oscar baiting. He's picking those movies that critics are gonna love.
Sure, but that doesn't always translate to Oscars, but it just goes to show he's picking the right films.
Yeah, but obviously
Sometimes
not
that's what it's
yet
about.
because he hasn't gotten an Oscar.
I mean, now there's Amy Adams, but nobody's over here being like, she sucks. She's never going to win. I mean, eventually she's going to win. The problem is, personally, I feel like when you try too hard for that Oscar,
That's when they hold it against
that's when
you.
they hold it back. Leo DiCaprio, great there. He's just killing it in every single row, and the Oscars are like, Leo, we're going to let you finish, but not quite yet.
So basically, they're going to give it to Don Cheadle for a role that he has absolutely no
business.
reason
Yeah.
winning an Oscar for, just to be like,
So Don Cheadle's basically
We
got to
missed
go do his Revenant, and then he'll pull an Oscar. And it won't make any sense, but everybody will cheer it because he finally gets that Oscar. But he doesn't get... Oh, he does show up in the top 5 on all of these, but in the audience scores, he's in 4th on IMDB and 3rd on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe there won't be as much clamoring for him to win an Oscar as there was for Leo, where the Academy just couldn't ignore it anymore.
yeah.
So maybe he just keeps pulling these movies, but never actually wins. Again, he could be the male Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Who the audience kind of loves her. You know, we think she's really good and everything, and the critics really love her, but there's just never really momentum going into the award season for
He
her.
really needs to get that role. He needs to get the audience on his side if he's going to keep doing the Oscar baiting movies. Like, he needs something to push himself over the edge.
Exactly. Okay, so that was all of the categories, the top 5 in every single one. Let us know in the comments down below if you think there's anything surprising that showed up there, if anything that you were just like, oh, yep, saw that coming from a mile away. You know, just let us know what you think.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Hey, he got a lot of love on these lists.
I love him so much.
So
it's not just the cheekbones.
The other name that appears on all of these, besides Jeremy Renner and Don Cheadle, Mark Ruffalo.
Once again, I love him. He's fantastic, even though he's made things like Now You See Me 1 and
But
2.
that's for the fans. That's for the people who like him, who don't want to go sit and watch some political drama or The Big Short about the market crashing or all that
Yeah.
stuff, or even Spotlight.
But
People don't want to go watch those.
But the problem here is, looking at your list, I can kind of see it looking this way. In the critics' score, he's number 4 on both of them. So the critics don't necessarily care for him. The audience loves him, though.
True, but sometimes the audience is what helps push you there. You know, it's... If you have a movie that comes out that the audience loves and the critics still like, I mean, he's still top in both of those categories, so he's still making great movies critic-wise, there might be enough clamoring from the audience being like, give him an Oscar, hashtag give Mark Oscar, or, you know, something like that. Like, it doesn't always work. Look at Toni Collette last year for Hereditary, who should have definitely gotten at least nominated, because she was amazing, but she didn't. But sometimes there's enough build up from the audience and enough screaming about it that it does happen.
I mean, maybe if you get that right role that the critics happen to like. I'm just wondering if he's only good in ensemble pieces. I mean, what movie that
he just had Dark Waters where he crushed that role and it was his movie. Kind of like we just talked about Jeremy Renner in Wind River. This was Mark Ruffalo's movie and he crushed it.
Yeah, so he's on par with Jeremy Renner then.
True. Okay, so I'm going to just read off all the names that I did these numbers for, because obviously I didn't do them for every single male actor in the MCU. I had some qualifications here. You either had to have your own movie or be a leader in some way of the Avengers, of the overall arcing theme of the MCU, and voice acting doesn't count. So I'm sorry, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, you guys aren't there. So here's who we did. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans. Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Holland, Chadwick Boseman, Tom Hiddleston, Don Cheadle, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Dave Bautista, and Chris Pratt. So out of those names, who's actually surprising to not have made the top 5 in any of those categories since debuting in the MCU?
For me, I was a little bit surprised at, Anthony Mackie. I honestly think he's a great actor, but I saw that he does not make great movies.
No, he does not make great movies. Anthony Mackie, pick better roles. Slow down a little bit. I mean, go make your money, kid, but slow down a little.
But he's such a great actor.
19 movies, though.
He's such a great actor.
But it doesn't matter how good you are. You can't focus on being your best when since Winter Soldier, he's been in 19 movies. 19. You can't focus and go out and get those awards or really put your all into a role when you're doing 8 movies a year. Like, Anthony Mackie, slow down. We love you, but good God, slow down, man.
True, and he does a lot of the comedy movies.
He does.
Academy does not.
I don't, just leave it. It's fine.
Academy does not like comedy movies,
No,
as we see with Chris Pratt.
Yes, that's the hard part. Is Chris Pratt is never going to get nominated doing comedy stuff.
Or
It's
Paul
just
Rudd.
Never gonna, and Paul Rudd too. Everybody loves Paul Rudd, but he unfortunately was nowhere near the top 5. He was definitely towards the bottom in every single category because it's comedies that everybody loves him, but not everybody loves comedies. So it's hard to gauge these exactly. That's why it's like, this is just a fun conversation, and the numbers don't actually mean anything. They're just weird, and I love them so much.
So much.
But the name that really surprised me here is Chris Evans. Like, he's, spoiler alert, he's my pick. I really just want him to just crush every role that he gets, which he does, and I've been a fan of his for forever. You can attest to that.
Yes.
It's not just him as Captain America. It's the perfect score. It's Puncture. It's What's Your Number? Like, all these older films with him. Love him in everything. I will watch him do anything, even stupid things like The Losers. Huge fan for him. He is the best Hollywood Chris. I'm sorry to everyone else. He just is.
You can't beat him.
Nope.
I mean,
he's perfect.
he stopped an interview to pet a dog.
Yeah, he stopped. It wasn't even an interview. It was a panel at Comic-Con, and he stopped to pet a dog dressed like Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
Oh, the dog was dressed
The
like
dog
Iron Man?
was dressed as Iron Man, and he stopped to go pet the Iron Man dog. It was amazing. Okay, off topic here.
Sorry. You talk
All right.
about Chris and
All
move
right.
on.
So he's my pick to want to just start crushing award season. The fans love him. He's done some great movies. Snowpiercer, something he probably could have been nominated for in some capacity. Knives Out, although it's an ensemble piece, he probably could have been nominated for a part of that, supporting actor,
I mean,
something.
Gifted was sorely underrated.
Gifted was definitely underrated. If you haven't seen Gifted 2017, go check it out. It's wonderful.
It's beautiful.
So,
I feel like all of his movies are sadly underrated, even though his performance is stellar in all of them.
It is, and he's not just, hey, look at me, I have muscles, and I'm really attractive.
Chris Hemsworth.
It's, hey, look at me, I have really big muscles, but I'm going to make you ignore that and make you cry because I'm actually a very good actor.
I mean, he made it when he didn't have the big muscles.
No, I mean, he always had muscle. Like, let's not get wrong here. Like, he's always been in great shape. He's always looked fantastic. But no, he's never been Captain America big before.
No.
But he's just always been fun. Not another teen movie. Like, he does stuff that fans love.
I mean...
And he does stuff that the critics love.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
His cameo in that was fantastic. So he does stuff fans love, and he does stuff critics love. He just never seems to be able to put it all together with the parts that he picks.
Like I said, he needs that one role that is just going to skyrocket him.
So, is he... Coming out of it, I thought most people were on the RDJ train. They thought for sure, like, coming out of it, Iron Man, everybody's favorite. It was so emotional. We've been with him for 18. We've been with him for 22 movies in 10 years, 11 years. It was super emotional. But Doolittle bombed horribly, and The Judge was not a great movie either. A lot of his movies he made while he was Iron Man were not good. And the first movie he made afterwards, not good. So I feel like he's on the downward momentum, and at least Chris is on the upward.
Yeah, the problem with RDJ is that was his role. Iron Man was his role, the best thing that he could do. And to not get an award for that, I don't think he can come back from that.
I don't know. I don't think so. At least not anytime soon. At least not before somebody else on this list.
He would need to take a nice break off and do something totally different.
Yeah.
Not like comedy, because we've seen him do comedy in MCU.
Yep.
He's a very,
he's
quippy
witty,
cup
he's quippy, it's great.
character.
So is everybody in the MCU, it's fine.
So he needs to take a step back and do something different and just find himself as an actor again.
So, I agree with you on all of that. So, out of all these people, out of those top three, the three that end up in every single one of these categories, Mark Ruffalo, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Renner, if you had to say right now which one of those gets an Oscar first?
Honestly, I think...
No, don't think. Just say. Who do you think gets it? Mark Ruffalo, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Renner.
The numbers will say Don Cheadle. He's number 1 in 2 different categories.
So you're saying Don Cheadle. I need an answer, right now. Which one of those three? Okay, guys. At the end of the day, it's going to be Mark Ruffalo. She can't answer. She's eating up all the time right now.
Well, I want to say Jeremy Renner. That's a problem.
So say Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
There you go. You're wrong. It's Mark Ruffalo, but that's fine.
You're wrong. It's Jeremy
Renner. All right,
Renner.
so then out of all the other people on the list, doesn't matter about numbers or anything, who do you want to win an Oscar first?
Who do I want and believe that they can do it?
Just who do you want?
I want Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay. She's wrong again. Stop being wrong.
Hey, you asked what I wanted.
Well,
I want
what you want is
Benedict
wrong.
Cumberbatch.
It's Chris Evans. I want Chris Evans to win one.
Yeah, you've already talked about Chris Evans.
He's going to win one. Out of the numbers, it's going to be Mark Ruffalo. He has the most diverse portfolio of all the roles. He doesn't just go for the look at me, I can win an award thing. So, that's my picks. Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans. Dark Horse, Dave Bautista, guys. If you haven't paid attention to his career and only seen his drafts, take a look at some of the other stuff he does. The first 15 minutes of Blade Runner 2049 is brilliant. He holds his own against Ryan Gosling in that role. So, watch him. It wouldn't surprise me if he ended up pulling a Best Supporting Actor at some point soon. Final words.
I can't deny that. My pick, Jeremy Renner or Benedict Cumberbatch. I think they have it.
Cool. All right, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think about all this and who you want to win an Oscar first.
Tell him he's wrong.
Even though the Oscars aren't the be-all, end-all, they're just the biggest award that everybody knows.
Yeah.
We're hoping to come back soon with a video like this for all the females in the MCU. Can't forget about them. Show them their own love.
Of course.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all that stuff that you know how to do on YouTube. If you like our videos, let everybody else know. Tell them to come check us out. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.